All right, get ready for this. We're about to connect two things you'd probably never, ever put in the same sentence: ancient Japanese poetry and modern software architecture. I know it sounds a little out there, but stick with me. By the end of this, you're going to have a seriously powerful new way to think about tackling pretty much any complex project. It all starts right here, with just 17 syllables, written over 300 years ago by the legendary poet Basho. It feels so simple, doesn't it? But just like a really elegant piece of code, that simplicity is incredibly deceiving. There's a lot going on under the surface. And that's the big question, isn't it? What if this little poem actually has a hidden architecture? What if we could draw up a blueprint for it, just like we would for a piece of software? And what if that blueprint could teach us something fundamental about how we create anything? So, to find this blueprint, we're going to borrow a tool straight from the world of software engineering. It's called the C4 model. The easiest way to think about it is like a set of 4 maps, where each map zooms in a little closer to give you more and more detail. What makes this so amazing are these 4 levels. You start at context. That's like looking at a map of the entire world. Then you zoom into the container, which is like seeing the country. Component is the city level, and finally, code is the actual street you're standing on. It's a brilliant way to go from the biggest why all the way down to the tiniest how. Okay, so now for the fun part. Let's take this C4 blueprint and apply it to Basho's haiku. Let's see what happens when we start to peel back the layers. First up, layer 1, context, the big picture. You see, this poem didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was born in Edo period Japan, a time and place deeply steeped in a Zen atmosphere. It's also a tiny window into Basho's own spiritual life, and it's part of this huge cultural tradition of haiku. That's the world this poem breathes in. Now we zoom in to layer 2, the container. That famous 575 syllable structure. It's not just some arbitrary rule. It's the actual architecture of the poem. The first 5 syllables perfectly set the scene. The old pond. The next 7 give us the one singular action. A frog jumps in. And the final 5 deliver the lingering result. The sound of water. Each line is a container holding one piece of the story. Diving deeper, we get to the component level. These are the specific tools, the poetic devices that make the whole thing work so well. You've got a seasonal word to ground us in a specific time of year, and a cutting word, which creates this dramatic, emotional pause. There's this amazing contrast between total stillness and sudden sound. And maybe most importantly, it's what the poem doesn't say that invites our own imagination to fill in the gaps. And finally, we arrive at layer 4, the code, the words themselves. If you look at the original Japanese, the very sounds are chosen with purpose. The clear consonants, the sharp, abrupt sound for the jump, the long, echoing vowel for the ripple in the water. It's not just a poem. It's literally engineered for our ears. So, okay, we've just mapped a 300-year-old poem. Pretty cool, right? But this is where it gets really powerful. This blueprint, this way of thinking, it's so much bigger than just art. Its real magic is in its ability to bring order to any complex process. So let's make a big pivot. We're going from a tiny, 17-syllable poem to something that, let's be honest, can feel pretty overwhelming for a lot of us. Writing a big, complex academic paper. This is where a really interesting concept called the academic paper dojo comes in. And what they propose is pretty wild. They suggest using the exact same C4 model as a thinking blueprint to navigate the often chaotic journey of research and writing. So that's the next big question, isn't it? Could this incredibly elegant 4-layer system that unlocked the secrets of a haiku, could it really bring that same sense of order and clarity to the messy, complicated process of writing a research paper? Let's take a look at how this actually works, because this isn't just a nice little metaphor, it's a practical, step-by-step guide you can actually use. And look at this. It's a perfect one-to-one translation. The context is all your background reading and research. The container is your overall paper structure, your intro, your chapters, your conclusion. The components are the key arguments and pieces of evidence within each chapter. And the code? That's the really fine detail, your sentences, your word choice, your citations. It's the exact same logic, just in a totally new domain. Following this path leads to this incredible idea they call well-being writing. The whole point isn't just to crank out a paper at the end. The real goal is to design a writing process that actually feels good, one that helps you find your flow, builds your confidence, and gives you that real sense of accomplishment as you go. Now, this right here is the real breakthrough. It completely reframes writer's block and anxiety. It suggests that if you're stuck, it's probably not because you're a bad writer. It's because you have a bad process. It turns a personal problem into a design problem. And guess what? Design problems can always be solved with a better blueprint. So let's zoom all the way back out one last time. We've seen how this model can decode a poem and structure a paper, but honestly, its potential is so much bigger than that. Because when you get right down to it, the C4 model isn't really about software or poetry at all. It's a universal framework for taming complexity, for making sense of chaos. Whether you're trying to start a business, learn a new language, or even just get your life organized, these 4 layers, context, container, component, and code, can give you a clear path forward. And that's really the thought I want to leave you with. What's the old pond in your life right now? What is that one big, messy, overwhelming challenge you're facing that might suddenly feel manageable if you just had the right blueprint to understand it?